It's the last Saturday before school starts, I pout as I throw myself back on the bed. Hieronymus was preparing lesson plans at his desk. I didn't understand why he needed to prepare lesson plans when he taught the same thing every year, but then again, I wasn't a teacher. Don't remind me, Hieronymus murmurs as he sits back in his chair. The summer always disappears too quickly. But it's the last Saturday before class, I remind him. Remember what happened last year? I was supposed to spend that last day with you, and then I didn't show up, and you were hurt, and I had no idea we were married, and I spent the rest of the year trying not to obsess over why I couldn't stop thinking about you. Hieronymus seems to consider this a moment. Are you worried about a repeat of events? Oh, please no, I say as I roll over, plopping myself down onto my stomach. Okay, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little concerned, but you're here to protect me. You'll keep me safe. I don't question that. The corner of Hieronymus's lip quirks up into a smile. He seems to like it when I remind him that I have unwavering confidence in his ability to protect me. Maybe it was because he couldn't protect Violet, and that left an intelligible mark on his self-esteem. I'm not sure, but I can't deny that I'll do anything to put a smile on his face, especially when I know he'll be scowling too soon before long. It might help to look ahead to the future, Hieronymus says. Now that you're a third year, your classes are going to be much different. Well, yeah, since I won't have you for a teacher anymore. Everyone's been a bit tight-lipped about what we're going to be studying this year. I know we're studying the history of magic and customs. I know we're probably studying things about the other world. And I know we're probably going to learn more advanced spells, because why wouldn't we? But that's about all I know. Hieronymus seems to consider this a moment. There is one other facet of magic that you're forgetting. I raise an eyebrow at him. What's that? Dueling, he says simply. I can tell he doesn't want me to make a big deal out of it, but I can't help myself. Dueling? I ask as I jump to my feet. Like we're actually going to really attack and defend from each other? Potsdam had us practice dueling as freshmen, but it was all just basic spells and no one really got hurt. This, however, seemed much different. Is there another kind of dueling, Tori? Hieronymus asks dryly, but he's not going to dissuade me. I'm not excited, I tell him, although the grin that's plastered on my face implies the opposite. I just think it's suddenly a really good idea that I practiced red magic last year. That's all. Hieronymus muses as he looks back to his desk. I can tell he's not really happy that I brought up last year, and truth be told, it's something that I'd like to forget as well. I started using red magic in more and more of my exams because it was fun blasting through monsters, but I wasn't being true to who I was. The fact that I didn't even think to use blue magic to teleport monsters away from me meant that there had been something seriously wrong. I just didn't know it at the time. I watch Hieronymus work for a moment, but suddenly I can't help but feel lonely. I was excited to start dueling, but he didn't seem to share my enthusiasm, and I couldn't understand why. Unless... Are you worried about me? I ask quietly. This gets his attention immediately as he turns back to face me. Like, are you worried that someone could really hurt me in a duel? All duels are supervised, Hieronymus replies automatically. If something were to happen, there is someone available to help you immediately. Most of the spells you are instructed to use are non-lethal, so there are only minor concerns for injury. But what if someone slashes my arm off? I ask, suddenly growing nervous. What if I lose an arm? How can I hug you with only one arm? Do you see many people walking around with only one arm? Hieronymus asks dryly, but a new fear has gripped me as I remember how Damien stabbed me in the arm when we were dueling in the gym. It felt like acid was chewing a hole in my shoulder, leaving only a bloody mess where my arm should have been. It's the last Saturday before school starts, I say to no one in particular. I should check on Daniel. He could probably use some help figuring out his class schedule. I head towards the door when the memory of a bright flash of purple interrupts my thoughts. I started the year without any memory of who I was, and I didn't want that to happen again. Damien was gone now, but did I really want to take that chance? I'm gonna go take a bath, I say as I make my way and duck into the bathroom, closing and locking the door behind me. I immediately turn on the water before sitting down opposite the toilet as I draw my knees into my chest. What was I going to do? Just hide in Hieronymous's room until class started? I didn't need to be afraid anymore. Damien was gone now. It was unlikely I was going to be attacked. And yet, wasn't that what I was going to be looking forward to once class started up again? Hieronymus had been completely in his element when he dueled Damien, casting and shielding. Would I learn to be that proficient at fighting with someone else? On one hand, that was a good thing. If Damien or anyone else ever attacked me, it was important for me to know how to defend myself, or Hieronymus. True, he was much stronger and much more experienced than I was, but it had been my idea to teleport around the gym. What he made up for in raw strength, I compensated for with strategy and sneaky tactics. If there was one thing I was still proud of from that duel, it was teleporting around the gym to wear down his mana so that he couldn't get a direct hit on me. My mana ran out before his did, of course, but it would be a viable strategy against a weaker opponent. On the other hand, how was I supposed to duel anyone without losing my composure? Not everyone who attacked me was out to kill me. This was just a training exercise, but at the same time, would I be able to hold my nerve and remember it as such? I remember when I had accidentally let an energy ball fly into my hand when I was upset at Minnie last year. Granted, I was losing my mind from not being able to remember if my memories were real, but what if I couldn't control myself? What if I freaked out in the middle of a duel and really hurt someone? The whole school was already talking about how I attacked my roommates. Granted, I didn't, but some people still probably believe that rumor, didn't they? What if I really hurt someone and they decided that I was too dangerous to control and took my magic? Then Hieronymus would be left alone, and I would be sent out into the world as an empty shell, fit to remold as they saw fit. My head is spinning, and I quickly grab the stone around my neck as I try to center myself on Hieronymus's heartbeat. It had been so long since I used it last, but right now I couldn't help myself. His heartbeat is strong and soothing, and I try to regulate my breathing to match his. It was ridiculous that I was hiding in the bathroom only a few feet away from him instead of just telling him what was bothering me, but how was he supposed to focus on his classes if he was worried about me having a nervous breakdown at the beginning of school? Tori? I literally jump as he knocks on the door, and a small cry slips through my lips. There's no way he didn't hear that. And as the door handle twists in the lock, I know I have to come clean with him. I could hide and sulk in the bathroom all I wanted, but I wasn't going to get anywhere until I confronted what was really bothering me head on. One sec. I quickly stand up and turn off the water, brushing my hair behind my ears as I open the door. What's up? He looks me up and down. That was a fast bath. You're already dry. Magic, I reply lightly as Hieronymus folds his arms over his chest and leans in the doorway. He doesn't look mad at me, just intrigued. It's an emotion I don't understand right now, especially when he must know what I'm feeling. Let's talk about it, he says, as if he can read my mind. I didn't feel like he was using magic on me, but then again, after months of following me around and paying extraordinarily close attention to me, he didn't need to. You tell me, I tell him, surprised to hear my voice sounding stable and sturdy out of my mouth. If you think I'm upset, you obviously have a speculation as to why that might be. He just shakes his head from side to side and continues his curious stare, his bemused expression never faltering. You're not upset, he says, after it's clear I'm not going to say anything until he does. You're afraid. I just laugh and push past him as I make my way back to the bed. I'm not afraid. Oh no? Hieronymous asks. When you're angry, you confront me. When you're upset, you sulk. When you're afraid, you run off to be by yourself, except you won't leave the room because you know you're safer in here with me. I visibly cringe. Fine, I say, huffing as I cross my arms over my chest. Fine, I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm going to make a complete fool of myself. Happy now? Hieronymous uncrosses his arms as he makes his way over to sit next to me on the bed. I don't understand, he admits at length. If your previous experiences are any indication, you have the ability to think quickly under pressure. You're more than capable of defending yourself, and if what I saw in your exams last year was any indication, your offensive magic is superior to many of your peers. That's the problem, I tell him. I'm not afraid I'm going to lose a duel or be called weak. I'm afraid I'm going to go overboard in the other direction. I'm afraid that if someone was to attack me and I attack back, I'm not sure I'll be able to stop myself. Hieronymous seems deep in thought as he considers this. You have showed a remarkable mastery of your abilities so far, Tori, he says quietly. Remember when we were in the gym? I filled the room with fire, and do you remember what I asked you to do? You asked me to shield us, I remember, brushing the hair out of my face, which was a stupid move. What if I wasn't strong enough to hold up the shield for as long as you needed me to? Or what if it wasn't strong enough to withstand the strength of your attack? But I never asked you, did I? Hieronymous asks, and I shake my head as I recall what transpired between us in the gym. Tori, when I say so, shield us. Will it be strong enough? Now, Tori, do it! I wouldn't have asked you to do it if I didn't think you were strong enough to protect us, Hieronymous continues. So when I say that I do have some idea of your magical abilities and what you're capable of, I hope I can at least put some of your fears to rest that you will be able to control yourself. When in doubt, focus on maintaining your defense. Most of your peers will inevitably try to win by throwing attack after attack until their mana runs down. You don't have to overpower them. You just have to outthink them. I nod my head, but I can't help but think back to the duel with Damien and how I had thrown up the shield immediately. I had been able to protect us both because I knew that it was either kill or be killed. I didn't have a choice. Hieronymous didn't give me a second to doubt myself. He didn't doubt me then, and he wasn't doubting me now. I guess that makes sense, I admit softly. I'm just not sure how I'll react in a situation that isn't life or death. He smirks at me. Then why don't we practice right now?